In this video, I'm going to share my top 5 sources of free traffic for your online course, coaching, or digital product business, including the one I'm using right now to generate 250 leads per day for free. And for each one, I'll talk about what stage of business it's perfect for, how quickly it works, how much potential upside there is, meaning how much traffic can it actually bring you, as well as the longevity of that traffic source, meaning how long will it continue to bring you traffic if you stop doing anything. So let's start with earned media. Now, earned media is any media attention that you get that you don't pay for. So my favorite ones are things like getting featured on big websites in your industry, major publications or news outlets, and even podcasts. And so many people avoid this, and it's really underutilized because most people think, well, I need to be well known or at least internet famous before I can start doing it. But that's really not the case. You can start doing this at a very early stage in business. As soon as you've got some kind of web presence, meaning a website and some social media profiles, you can start doing this because it's as simple as reaching out to these news outlets, finding the names of the editors or the people in charge, reaching out to them and pitching them with your ideas. And yes, it can be a challenge if you start with really big publications and outlets, but if you start with smaller websites and pitch them your ideas and start with smaller podcasts and pitch yourself to be a guest, there is a very good chance that you will get featured and you can work up from there. The speed at which this method actually works to bring you traffic is really fast. You can go from pitching a website or a podcast to actually having your thing live in less than a week. And as soon as it goes live, you will see an influx of traffic coming to your website. So it is really, really fast and effective. And the upside of this method can be huge depending on the size of the publication or the outlet or the podcast that you get featured in. You could see thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of visitors coming from that. And while we're on the topic of upside, it's really important to mention that traffic quality is a factor as well. And the quality of traffic that you get from this method is really high because people are reading a source that they trust. They're on a website or a news publication, or they're listening to a podcast that they really trust already. And so by reading about you or by hearing you in these places, that trust immediately transfers over to you to some degree. So when those people come to your website and they opt into your email list, the quality of those leads is higher than pretty much any other source I can think of because of that transferred authority. Now, the only downside of this method is unfortunately the longevity is quite short. As soon as your thing goes live, you get an influx of traffic and an influx of leads coming from that traffic, but after a few days, it starts to decline sharply until it tapers off to a small trickle. But there are some really important long-term benefits that you do get from this. And when you couple it with some of the other methods I'm going to share in this video, it actually snowballs into something pretty powerful. So as you keep watching, it's all going to come together really nicely. Here are a few ways to get started with this method that are pretty simple. The first one is a thing called Harrow, or Help a Reporter Out. You can go to helpareporter.com and sign up. And basically what happens is 3 times a day, they will send you an email with a bunch of requests from journalists looking for expert sources. And all you need to do is search through those requests, find the ones that you can provide a valuable answer to, respond to those queries, and every now and then one of those journalists is going to quote you in their articles. This is a fantastic way to get mentioned in huge publications. It doesn't work every time. Not every one of your pitches is going to get picked up, but if you just limit yourself to spending 20 to 30 minutes on each pitch, and maybe you'll do one of those a few times a week, it is a fantastic way to use this method. The second one, I haven't actually tried this one yet, but it looks really good, is podmatch.com. And this is actually a matching service where guests and podcast hosts can find each other. So if you want to get featured on podcasts, you go to podmatch.com, sign up, and you can actually get matched with podcasts who are looking for guests with your expertise. And finally, the other one, which I mentioned before, was finding these big outlets in your industry. So the more specific, the better. Find these big media publications, find who the editors are and the people who make the decisions as to what gets published, and then pitch them your ideas. A good one is just coming up with timely ideas. So pitching them on things that are happening in the news or in the media already that people are talking about and people really want to read about. And if it fits your area of expertise, you can offer to write an article about that. And there's a good chance that that will get snapped up. That's actually exactly what I did to get featured in Money when the pandemic started. I pitched them on an idea to talk about working from home because I'd run an agency where everything was run remotely. remotely from home, and they picked that up and ended up featuring me because of that. Okay, let's move on to the second one, which is what you're watching right now, YouTube. So this is what we're actually using in another business to generate 250 plus leads every single day. And that is all completely free. Here's what you need to know about YouTube. So the first thing is you should start right away. So it doesn't matter where you are in your business. If you're just getting started or if you're a fair way along in the journey, you should start YouTube now. And it takes a while for YouTube to actually start getting your video out there in front of people and for the views to start rolling in. So the sooner you start, the sooner you will get past that sort of 6 to 12 month phase when not much happens and really build up into getting tons and tons of views. The good news is the potential upside is huge. I just mentioned that we're generating 250 plus leads a day and growing from another business for this. And I really don't see a potential cap on that at the moment. I mean, YouTube is continuing to grow. That channel is less than 2 years old, so it's just getting started. So I think with YouTube, if you get started, you invest the time, invest the effort, the upside is almost limitless. The downside of it is what I already mentioned. It's slow and it takes time for it to really get working for you. And the other thing is it does have a high barrier to entry, which is a double-edged sword. I mean, a high barrier to entry is bad because it's got a steep learning curve and it takes a lot to actually get going, learn the platform and learn how to create good videos. But the benefit of that is it weeds out competition. It's a lot harder to create a really good YouTube channel because you have to sit down and record videos than it is to create a lot of other types of content on the internet. So personally, I love the high barrier to entry because it allows me to create and work on something that others can't easily come in and compete with or mimic. And the other good thing about YouTube is the longevity. So I mean, even though it takes a long time for it to get going, once the ball is rolling and you're getting views, even if you stop creating new videos, you're still going to get views every single day for a long time because you'll still get found in YouTube search, your videos are still going to get recommended. It's not like those views stop as soon as you stop publishing, which happens with a lot of social media platforms. So here's the key with YouTube if you want to generate leads, which will then turn into sales for your courses, coaching, or digital products. What you need to do is in every video, you should be offering something that the viewer can download that's of value to them for free in exchange for an email address. So you've probably heard that described as something like a lead magnet or a free opt-in, and basically you send them to a link that you put in the description of your videos, they can enter their name and email address, and you send them the free thing. Speaking of which, if you want to get on my newsletter where I help digital product owners create their own successful businesses, make sure you click the link in the description to do that. Now, if you want to get started with YouTube channel, I've actually got just the thing for you. You can actually get free access to a premium class on how to get started and succeed with YouTube from one of the biggest creators on the platform. And it's all thanks to this week's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who wants to learn new skills, whether it's for business or personal growth. There are courses on Skillshare for almost anything, including how to create a successful YouTube channel. I'm currently taking a class to help improve my own channel. It's called YouTube Success, Script, Shoot, and Edit with MKBHD by Marques Brownlee, who is one of the largest tech YouTubers on the planet. And that's what I love about Skillshare. They've got really high quality classes taught by real experts in their respective fields. If you've got a specific skill you're trying to learn, Skillshare is the perfect place to start. We already talked about YouTube, but they've also got copywriting, graphic design, sales, productivity, and much, much more. No matter what it is, you're going to find a class that will match your goals and interests. And if you use the link in the description, you can get free access to Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to use the link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. That's right, so you can go in, watch that YouTube class or any other classes you're interested in for 1 month completely free. Just use the link down in the description below. Now moving on to free traffic source number 3, which is blogging and SEO. And I know you're probably thinking, ugh, blogging and SEO, I've heard of this before, it's old news. But just stick with me because there's a unique twist here that comes from combining the different methods that we've talked about so far in a unique way that not only makes this part easy, but it actually makes it much more beneficial and much more effective as well. So here's what we're doing with this other business that I just mentioned and what I recommend you do as well. I recommend you start blogging at the same time you start your YouTube channel, because it has a similar problem to YouTube in terms of the time it takes before you actually start seeing traffic coming from this method. But the benefit is the potential upside is huge. Once Google starts sending traffic to your website, the potential upside is almost limitless, just like YouTube. And the longevity, similar to YouTube again, is also fantastic. So it takes a long time to get going, but once it's going, it's going to keep bringing you free traffic for years and years to come. So here's the key and what I recommend you do. Every time you create a YouTube video, take that YouTube video and turn it into a blog post on the exact same topic. Now, what you should not do is take that YouTube video and just post the transcript as a blog post. That's not going to work. But you've done all the research and you've invested a lot of time coming up with the script or the contents for your YouTube video, and that is going to make writing the blog post so much quicker and easier. So take that content from the YouTube video, do some keyword research using a tool like Ahrefs or something similar, find keywords with high search volume and take that and write a blog post based around that keyword. You can also use screenshots and things and use them throughout the blog post. So what you're doing now is you're essentially repurposing content. You've got a YouTube video that splinters out into a blog post. And the other thing that you want to do, and this is key, is when you use the first method, meaning earned media, that's going to bring backlinks to your website. So if you're on a podcast, it's going to give you a backlink to your website. If you write articles for news outlets or you get mentioned in news outlets or big websites or publications, then they're also going to link to your website as well. And guess what? All of those links really help increase the amount of traffic you get to your blog from Google. Without links, you're not going to get much traffic. But if you're doing all of these three things at once, you can see now that your blog posts are going to be easier to write, and they're also going to get more traffic because method number one is going to be giving you backlinks to your website. That's going to help the blog get traffic quicker. It's going to shorten up that time span, and you're going to get more traffic in the long run as well. So what we've got so far are 3 traffic sources that are completely free and all mutually beneficial when you use them together. I'd be really curious to hear what you think about that strategy and using those together, so let me know in the comments below. Okay, so the next one took me a long time to warm to. I have to admit, I avoided this for a long time, but I've finally come around. And that's TikTok. It's actually a really good free traffic source for us now. The amount of eyeballs and attention you can get on TikTok is better than any of the other social media platforms that I'm using at the moment. They seem to have a better discovery engine or discovery algorithm, whatever you want to call it, in terms of new people being able to get their content out there and get seen by a big audience. We've got a fairly new TikTok account at the moment. I think it's got 6 or 7 videos on it, and it's got one video with 77,000 views, one with 20 or 30,000 or more, and the latest one's I think just about to crack 30,000 as well. It's crazy how many eyeballs you can get on the platform. And the good news is you don't have to do weird dances to get that traffic. You can just get on there and give short 30-second, 60-second tips on whatever niche you're in, and that actually does work. So the benefit of TikTok is you get traffic really quickly. So it's easy to post content and you get a quick burst of traffic as soon as you get on the platform. And I would say the best time to start, again, it's now. And the reason is because, one, this is limited time. If you look at any other social media platform, what you'll notice is when they're brand new, it's a great source of traffic. It's a great source of attention. Like when Facebook was new, you could create a Facebook page and get 100,000 followers really easily. But now the reach on Facebook is barely worth mentioning. And the same with Instagram. When Instagram first started, it was much easier to get attention and to build a big Instagram account than it is right now. So with TikTok, I just assume that this is going to be a short-term thing. So get in there now, get as much traffic and as many leads from the platform as you can, with full expectation that it's not going to last forever. In terms of potential upside, look, it's good while it lasts. It doesn't have the potential upside of, let's say, YouTube or Google. It's going to be a short spike and then it's going to die off. And that's the other problem. I mean, the longevity of a TikTok account or TikTok videos is very short. As soon as you stop posting, then the traffic stops. And then of course, because the leads come from traffic, the leads stop as well. So it's kind of the dancing bear situation. As long as you're putting content out, you're going to get benefits. As soon as you stop, then that's going to end. And that's why personally, I don't invest a ton of time or effort into TikTok. I actually, again, just use a repurposing strategy. So that new account that I mentioned that's growing really quickly, well, all of the videos on there just come from our YouTube videos. So that other YouTube account that we've got, all we do is every time we create a YouTube video and we turn that into a blog post, we also grab 3 or 4 snippets from the YouTube video and turn those into TikToks and we post them on TikTok. So the level of effort required is very, very small, but we we are getting quite a big benefit from TikTok at the moment. And if eventually at some stage that reach starts to die off and the benefit starts to die off, then it's not like we've invested a ton of time. We're simply repurposing our existing content. All right, enough about TikTok, on to the next thing, which is partnerships or joint ventures. So this is where you partner with another business to send traffic and leads to each other. It is so underutilized, it's almost unbelievable. There are so many digital product businesses that could benefit from partnerships and joint ventures. It's actually much easier to do than most people think as well, and it can quickly double the amount of leads and sales coming to your business. It's actually a really big topic. So if you want to learn more about how to do it, I've actually got a full video right here. So click on that one and check it out next, because I think it might be a complete game changer for your online course business. Until next time, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.